The wind is a knife. The plain is a white desert. Your face burns. Your breath crystallizes in the air. At 40 below, the world slows to a halt. No phone, no shelter, no second chances. You last hours. Our ancestors lasted nights. Not by luck, but by a ritual that bends sleep toward survival. Families curl under hides. Fire flickers along a curve of mammoth bone. Heartbeats slow. Bodies guard heat like a vault. They have nothing we'd call comfort. No walls, no heaters. Only a method tuned by fear and flame. We still carry their biology. Switches most of us never flip. In minutes, I'll show how they slept without dying. What they did before closing their eyes. Where the flame lived. How they stacked bone and snow. How they breathed to keep heat. And the mindset that kept panic out. We stand on the frozen grasslands of Ice Age Europe, 30,000 years before cities, before metal, before comfort. The world locks in cold. Walls of ice run across continents. The wind never quits. The ground is so hard that even death takes effort. But humans are here. Small bands move with the herds, reindeer, mammoth, bison, chasing food through endless snow. By day, they hunt. By night, they fight to stay alive. They dig half-buried shelters, walls packed with earth and sealed in hides. A fire burns at the center, fed less by wood, there's almost none, than by fat and grease-rich bone. Smoke stings the eyes, but it keeps the air warm enough to breathe. Sleep comes in short bursts. Someone always sits watch over the coals. Bodies press close under shared furs, breaths mixing in the dark. If the flame dips, everyone feels it, instantly. Yet even here, humans dream. Ivory figures take shape in the hand. Animals jump from cave walls. The dead are buried with care. They don't just survive, they stay human. So, what do? Night after night, when the fire burns low and cold claws at the ribs. The secret isn't strength, it's teamwork and invention. Each night is a battle against a cold that kills in minutes, so they turn sleep into strategy. First, shelter. Heat traps start as pits cut into earth, roofed with branches, mud, and thick hides. Inside, the air is heavy with smoke and animal scent, but just warm enough to live. Mammoth bones frame the space, sinew-stitched hides seal out wind. Grass, fur, or moss lifts bodies off the killing chill of the ground. Then, flame. Wood is scarce, so they burn fat. Mammoth and bison grease, sometimes mixed with bone as slow fuel, keep a low fire through the night. Embers rest under ash or in stone hollows, ready to wake if the flame fails. Heat isn't just comfort, it's life. Every breath of smoke is a promise that morning might come. Next, bodies. Men, women, children sleep in contact, skin to skin, shoulder to shoulder, becoming one living mass of warmth. Scientists call it huddle thermoregulation. They call it survival. In the deepest cold, some groups keep dogs or early dogs from wolves close. Fur and breath add precious degrees, warning ears by a little more night. Over time, that bond reshapes both species. Warmth isn't only physical. Fear of freezing becomes ritual. Before sleep, someone checks the coals, someone tightens the seams, someone murmurs to the fire. A habit, maybe a prayer, because if the flame goes out, dawn can't be trusted. One spark means life. One mistake means silence. Within that fragile balance, rhythm appears. People sleep light, waking at the smallest crack or chill. Bodies adapt. Some researchers suggest our tendency to wake at night echoes this. Cold memory, still wired inside us. Picture it. Fat crackles on a low flame. 10 bodies breathe slow beneath the same fur. Smoke, sweat, and hide fill the air. Outside, wolves call across the ice. Inside, someone dreams. But that fragile warmth carries a price, a cost that shapes us still. What is the price of surviving cold? Inside the shelter, life follows the fire. Rule 1. Never let it die. At dusk, feed it fat. At midnight, stir the heart of coals. Before dawn, bend close. Fog your breath and wake the flame. Many camps name the fire. You don't speak harshly near it, you think it under your breath. If it fails, the group fails. Who risks sleep after that? Knights assign roles. Elders guard the coals. They know the wind's voices. Hunters sleep at the edge, knives ready. Infants in the very old rest in the warm center. Partners don't always lie together. Heat places people, not romance. When storms rise, the layout tightens and drops low, breaths counting as blankets. Who earns the center next winter depends on who keeps others alive this one. Clothing is a tool. Hides layer with air between them like tiny walls. Bone needles pull seams tight. Sinew shrinks as it dries, sealing wind. Boots pack with dry grass you can swap each day. Faces smear with fat against frostbite. Even hair matters. Braided so grease and sparks don't catch. If a seam fails at night, it cuts like a knife. The best stitcher matters as much as the best hunter. Food shapes sleep. A hot stew, meat, marrow, fat, is a banked fire inside the body. Children lick grease from wooden spoons. Hunters chew dried meat slow to keep warmth steady. Grease lamps rim the hides with orange halos, and full bellies beat the cold for a few hours more. If the hunt fails, people sleep hungry and light, waking at every draft. What story do you tell a child when the pot is empty? Stories are heat too. Around the flame, voices rise and fall. A woman who steals fire from ice. A warning against sleeping alone. A song to pace the watch. Language stretches to carry cold knowledge. Many snows, many winds, many grades of ice. Children learn not just nouns but instructions. Drift snow hides pits. Blue ice sings before it breaks. Black frost burns lungs. Which word saves the most lives? Tools of rest are small and clever. Heated stones wrapped in hide go to the feet. Braided cords lift meat into smoke where it cures and warms the air. Ash mounds over embers to make a slow heart till morning. The door flap faces away from wind or doubles to trap air. Beds rise off the ground. Nothing wastes. A broken spear becomes a peg. A mammoth rib turns roof beam. What happens when one rib snaps in a blizzard? Belief gives fear a shape. Red ochre rings a hearth, as if drawing a line the cold cannot cross. Teeth, shells, carved bone hang and click in drafts. Before sleep, a hand touches the same lintel, habit turned ritual. The dead go to ground with a tool and a pelt, as if sent warm into the soil. Firelight throws climbing shadows. People see animals, ancestors, warnings. Is the fire a spirit, or just a rule everyone obeys? Work splits by skill and season, not just strength. In storm weeks, the best scraper matters more than the best spear. A good tanner turns raw hide into a second skin. A patient child gathers bedding moss better than a weary adult. The camp is a machine for holding heat. Pride lives in quiet acts. A seam so tight no wind finds it. A spark caught on the first strike. The ear that hears sleet turned to ice and calls everyone closer. Which skill do you value when the moon won't rise and the temperature falls? Animals shape culture too. Dogs, when present, sleep at feet or along the spine, warning of predators, adding warmth, sharing scraps. Their ears catch what humans miss. They read a dog's silence like a sentence. Danger near. The bond changes night itself. Less fear, more warning, a few extra degrees of heat. What happens to trust when your only alarm is a creature's breath beside you? Art waits for no season. Winter hands carved by lamp glow. Small figurines smooth under thumbs. Bone holds lines that track days of meat and days of dark. Paint mixed with fat smears on hides. Mark here, avoid that river. A storm's memory made visible. Mark-making says, we are more than the cold. Could drawing a bison help you dream it, then find it? Sleep braids with watch. Many camps stagger the night. Some doze early, some at midnight, some toward dawn. No hour left naked. Predators hesitate. The hearth lives. Bodies trained to wake easily. A habit we still carry. That jolt
At 3 a.m., when you listen for nothing, maybe it's the Ice Age watchman in your bones. When did you last check the dark for no reason? Strangers, when they come, meet the flame first. New hands can mean more meat, but also more mouths, more risk. Sharing the hearth is a contract. Follow the rules or sleep by the door. One mistake, an unlatched flap, a kicked ember, can cost toes or lives. What would you trade for a place two bodies in from the edge? Clothes, roles, rules, stories. Together they build a culture that holds heat, not comfort, not luxury, just enough warmth to dream and wake again. And as the ice loosens its grip, the habits don't vanish. They flow forward into the way we build homes, tell night stories, and trust one another when the world turns hard. But cold isn't the only teacher. Which modern peoples keep these lessons alive, and what does science say our bodies still remember? Some echoes never leave. The instincts that keep ancestors alive on frozen steppe still flicker under modern routines. You feel it when you pull a blanket tight, stare at a flame, or wake for no reason in the dark. Across the Arctic, some peoples keep the old rhythm. Inuit in Greenland, Nenets in Siberia, Sami in Scandinavia face winters when the sun disappears for months. Homes of skin, snow, or reindeer hide follow the same logic. Trap heat low, share warmth high, waste nothing. Inside, smoke and fat scent the air, much as it may have 30,000 years ago. Inuit sleep close, with layers of fur and skin between bodies. Nenets line tents with reindeer hide and rotate sleepers near the fire so no one freezes. Sami use dogs and reindeer for work and, at times, warmth. Around every hearth, the same rule survives: fire first, everything else second. Science backs parts of this story. Human sleep tracks temperature. Bodies cool at night, and if the drop goes too far, we wake. A leftover alarm from when too cold meant danger. Even social sleep carries memory. The comfort of a nearby body is biology. In deep cold, connection is survival. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherers today, like the Hadza of Tanzania, find that someone is awake almost every minute of the night, a shared, staggered rhythm of rest and vigilance. Safety doesn't sleep. Even dreams might remember. Some researchers argue cold can shorten and sharpen cycles, nudging more light sleep, an efficient pattern when energy is scarce. Every shiver, every half-waking, is a trace of an ancient night. Yet we lose something when we seal ourselves from the rhythm. Warm rooms and electric light blunt the weight of dark and the value of firelight. The Ice Age demands attention to air, to sound, to one another. Our first bonds form inside that awareness. Picture it again, a ring of light in endless snow, the faint hiss of fat burning, a dozen breaths clouding the dark. That is home, not because it is safe, but because it is shared. Tonight, when you switch off the light and feel air cool on your skin, remember, the warmth that keeps you alive begins there. In a world of ice, our ancestors don't just survive the night, they build the first kind of human comfort. Next time, we'll see what happens after the thaw, when flame no longer means life, and warmth itself begins to change what it means to be human.